So, where we find it? Okay, MDF base normally we find in furniture shops, any woodwork shops where they're doing doors, windows, everything. So you have already applied primer on the board and then applied colors. No, we are not applying primer. This is to prime the board. We are applying acrylic color. It's just to prime and not allow moisture to enter in. So it will just take 2 minutes to dry. So as you can see the color gradation from light blue to dark blue. So it's just that to know when you pour the resin, so you pour it in the correct spots. Same colors as pigment. No, we can't use acrylic for resin. We can use, but it's very difficult for us to mix. So it will be a difficult task for us to mix. So acrylic color doesn't really blend with the resin. So it will have small patches. So it's not that friendly to use acrylic colors. Yes. Yes, we are using blue resin pigment, blue acrylic color, or we can use white for all. No, we can't use white to prime the base because when we pour the resin, little part of the base will be seen. So we'll be coloring in the same color as the resin, whatever we are applying on the top. So it's almost dry. So I'm keeping this apart. So and this is the weighing machine. So yeah, so in resin we have different types of ratios. So we have 2:1, 3:1, and 1:1. So the difference between all these three are the thickness. So 2:1 is it's medium, and 1:1 is very thin, and 3:1 is more thin. So basically, you will require a lot of time to dry if you take 3:1 the ratio. So what I am using is 2:1. So it's always very important for you to wear blouses and mask. Mask is not required for the small pieces, but when you're doing large pieces, it is very important for you to wear the mask, gloves, and also respirator. Is there any resin for good outcome? So the resin which I am using is Skylark resin from Skyza company. So we'll have to mix in 2:1. This is my can you see that? This is my resin and this is my hardener. So resin will always be in just a minute. Yeah. So resin will always be in bigger bottle, and hardener will be a smaller bottle. So 2 parts of resin and 1 part of hardener. What kind of mask can we use? We are supposed to use respirator. NH masks, all those doesn't really work. When you're creating huge pieces, it's important to use respirator. No, yeah. For small projects, N95 mask is fine. So I have put 2 parts of resin, and this is hardener. So this is 1 part of hardener. So whoever joined now, I'll be repeating the whole process at the end. It's fine. You don't have to worry. Yes. So it's very important to mix it very thoroughly because when we are mixing, it will create air bubbles. So it's important for us to mix it very slowly, and we'll have to mix it for at least 2 to 3 minutes. Resound. I'm not sure. Is everyone getting it? Resound. Is it happening for everyone, the video and voice, or is it clear? You're clear, ma'am.
Also, guys, just want to ask, is it everyone the facing same thing? Are you facing the echo here? Yeah, just maybe, okay. So I think it's fine, right? Yeah, I think it's fine. So, yes, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Yes, Rohit, I think proceed, it's fine.
Yeah. So whoever has joined now, I'll explain everything clearly again at the end. It's okay. So, so there is a point where you have to stop, right? So how to identify that is, it should be very clear. The resin, when you mix hardener and resin, at the starting it will be kind of smoky white, but then it will be it will be very clear when the resin and hardener is mixed. So when it is very clear, you can stop the mixing. So now it's mixed and it's clear. So now, so this is the dark blue. This is for the clear resin. This is for the white. And this will be for the turquoise. So I've taken these many cups. So the clear resin, I'm pouring a little amount for dark blue. Okay, this will be for turquoise and this will be for the. So this is basically dried resin. I have already used this in the last class, so I'm using the same one. So you can reuse the paper cups as well. So this is for the dark blue. And I have clear resin, little bit of clear resin, little bit of white to white, and this is for a sand part. So here I'm using, can we reuse the excess resin? So excess resin we can't use after 40 minutes. After 40 minutes it will become really hard, but the cups you can use them. So it will be hard and it's okay to reuse them. So the colors doesn't mix. So for to create sand, I'm using rava, the suji, the rava which we used to make upma and kesri bath. So I'm using that. Or you can use sand as well, the artificial sand which is available. The rava, the normally we call rava. I don't know what is it called in other languages. Can anyone tell me? Yeah, suji. So I've got a thick paste. So this is to create the beach part. So you have to apply it. So I'm using this just to create a 3D effect, or you can use sand color pigment as well if you're not really a fan of this. So spread it evenly. Yeah, so I'm done with the sand part. So now I'll be using the pigments. So this is the dark blue, and so this is the dark blue and this is the turquoise. So I'm using Epoch brand pigments. So this is transparent blue, and this is the ocean color. So I'm using Epoch brand pigments. So you're supposed to take just 3% of the pigment to mix it. You're not supposed to take more than 3% because it doesn't really create a good effect. So I'll show you how much I'm using. So I'm not even just taking, I'm just dipping my, this one here. So can you see this? I'm just dipping it. I've not even taken huge amount. So I'll be mixing it. So this one you'll have to mix it for at least 20 or 30 seconds. I'm not really good at Hindi, but I guess for the master class you will be getting it as in Hindi and English as well. So basically when you look at this, it might look really dark. So how to check the real consistency and the color mix is when you do this, when you keep it for the light, and when you see this, you can see how transparent it is. So we keep this aside and let's mix the second color. So this is the turquoise ocean color. Yes. So this one also I'm taking very little, as you can see. So just little amount of pigment will help you to create a huge number of coats. So this is done. This is mixed. Let's keep it aside. And let's mix the next color, which is the lacy white. Yeah. So this is the lacy white Epoch brand pigment. So these are used to create the wave effect. Just a minute. So can I know how many of you have problems in creating the waves? Yes. So for this we took 3% for the other colors, but for white we are taking 15% of the pigment and we are mixing it. Sure, sure. I'll tell you the process from the starting in the end. So this is the cell serum which I'm using. This is also Apoc brands. So it's not necessary, but if you want to create huge amount of cells, you can use just 2 drops of this pigment. Apoc brand cell serum pigment. So all the Apoc brand products you can order it online. They have a website. Yeah, cell, cell, cell serum. So cells are the texture which gets created when we are doing the waves. So those are called as cells. Yeah. So we are done with mixing. So we have dark blue, we have turquoise, we have white, and we have transparent color. Little amount of transparent resin. So now let's get started with it. So it's very important for you to always put a plastic cover below whatever you're working on, because if the resin falls on plastic, it comes out the next day. But if it directly falls on the marble, granite, anything other than plastic, if it falls on plastic, it comes out. Other than plastic and silicone, if it falls on anything else, it's very difficult to remove. And if it falls on your hand, you can remove it by sanitizer. So let's get started. We are using the dark blue first. So dark blue is used at the end. So for small pieces, you really don't see the air bubbles, but when you're doing big bubbles, big pieces, you can see huge amount of air bubbles. So I'll also tell you how to get rid of those. So I have used Epoch brand transparent blue pigment. So resin is self-leveling. Even if you don't level, it will just level itself. And it's very important for you to keep the artwork on a leveled piece. Or else, if it is tinted or something, the whole resin flows towards the other side. So it's very important for you to keep it leveled. And next I'm using the turquoise. And just merge it with the sand. Yeah, so now we're supposed to blend both the colors. So don't use too much of resin on the base, because it'll just overflow and it'll be really difficult for you to clean it up. So just take little amount of resin and start working with it. Yes. So we have blended this. So the blending won't be seen in small pieces because the waves will be coming on this. So it will not really be seen. So now, what mistake normally we do is, now we start to put the waves. So this is how we're not supposed to do. So we're supposed to wait for another 25 to 30 minutes for the waves to form. So this liquid, it will have to get a little bit hard. So it should be in the form of honey texture. Until then, you will have to wait. So wait for a little time so that the resin becomes little hard. So this is for 2:1 resin. So there will be a pot life. Pot life is the time within which you will have to use the resin, or else it will get really hard. So for Skylark resin for 2:1, it is 40 minutes. So within 40 minutes, you're supposed to complete your piece. So we'll wait until the end of pot life. So always for the waves, you're supposed to wait until the end of pot life for that to become hard. So let's keep this aside. And now I'll show you how to remove the air bubbles. So this is called the blowtorch. We can also use lighter as well. So this is just like a lighter. So you just get this flame. So you have to be really quick. Just that's all. So all the air bubbles are gone. So if you keep it for really long time, the resin might burn. So you should be really quick, just 2 seconds or 1 second. That's all. So now let's wait for this resin to get hard. And you can ask me any questions if you have any questions. Wave. For the wave, we are supposed to use resin and lacy white pigment. Want to write on sand. So writing on the sand will be taught in the next part of the session in the master class. So I would like our moderator to tell about the master class.